Good day, and this is me, Zarlahan Medina, and you are watching IRD News again in the YouTube channel. Thank you for being with us. Let us have a glance at the headlines first. On February 1st, as many as 500,000 workers struck across Britain, closing schools, cancelling university lectures, and bringing most of the rail network to a standstill in what mass media says is the biggest single day of walkouts in more than a decade. Why staff across the UK are taking industrial action. A third day of strikes and mass street demonstration has taken place across France in opposition to Emmanuel Macron's unpopular plan to raise the pension age to 64 after the government faced shouting and booing in the parliament as lawmakers began debating the bill. The government said 757,000 people took part in a more than 200 street demonstration on February 5th. Also, university and high school students joined in the protest with the 15 faculties occupied and 200 high schools mobilized according to account by official of Jean-Luc Mélenchon and submissive France party. On Tuesday morning, police isolated and gassed high school students and lyric arresting in Paris. On February 6, a 7.8 magnitude earthquake struck southern Turkey and northern Syria. Officials said the number of dead tailed two countries so far is climbing toward 9,000, with the fears that this figure could double. Turkey Disaster Management Authority said on Wednesday that the death toll had climbed at least 6,000 in Syria. State and New Agency Center reported that at least 800 people have been killed and 1,000 injured the government-controlled areas. The White Helmet organization coordinating rescue effort in the rebel-held territory said at least 100 were killed and more than 2,000 injured. President Kassym-Jomart Tokayev expressed deep condolences of the Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdoğan over numerous victims caused by a major earthquake rocking several provinces of the country. During the conversation, the head of the state said Kazakhstan is sending rescuers and paramedics of the affected regions of Turkey to join the search and rescue operation, as well as ready to provide humanitarian assistance to the fraternal nation. Also, we want to mention that the faculty staff of Al-Farabi Kazakh National University, in support of a good deal transfer of the one-day salary to Fund of Assistance to Citizens suffered because of devastating earthquake in the Federal Republic of Turkey. The whole staff of Al-Farabi Kazakh National University shares the grief of families whose loved ones died as a result of natural disaster. In this edition, we'll focus on the Britain University strike, and now in more details about this event from Duman Jikenov, who participated in tonight's Intergovernmental Commission between Kazakhstan and UK.
Hello everyone, we are now at one of the main streets of London. And it's been third day of national strike where people asking salary increase. And we will try to give some information about this movement and get brief interview from the SOS University of London. The UK is being shaken by the biggest wave of strikes in more than a decade, with as many as 500,000 workers discontent over pay and working conditions finally erupting after brewing for months. Up to 300,000 teachers are expecting to strike on Wednesday, marking the first of 7 days of strike action through February and March by the National Education Union, the largest union in the sector. Strikes will affect around 23,400 schools, about 85% in England and Wales, with many closed fully or partially. More than 70,000 staff at 150 universities across the UK will strike for 18 days between February and March in disputes over pay, conditions and pensions, it has been announced. Thousands of teachers, university staff, train drivers and civil servants, including staff checking passports at airports, are striking in large numbers over pay and working conditions as living standards continue to plunge after a year of below inflation raises. The escalating strike action comes just weeks after the government tried to resolve pay disputes to bring an end to the worst wave of industrial unrest the country has seen in decades. Many public sector workers have been offered raises of 4 and 5% for the current financial year, with the annual rate of inflation running at 10.5%. We remind you, according to the 2022-23 academic year's pay scale, which implemented in August last year by Universities and College Employers Association, the median salary of UK higher education institutions are, for example, research teaching £32,000, lecturer around £39,000, senior lecturer around £50,000, principal lecturers almost £60,000. The median salary for a professor is around £80,000. Some 25% of professor salaries are at or below around £70,000. However, the university and college union says a third of academic staff are on temporary contracts and are paid per hour. It says that casual staff only get holiday entitlement based on the hours they work and have inadequate paid time to prepare for their classes. Staff titles vary across institutions, and university employ staff on different types of temporary contracts. Some academics say their salary is substantially less than their figures quote. Especially for IRD News from London, United Kingdom.
Thank Mr. Jikene for this support. It is time for analyzing. Professor Bafna Dave, Professor of the Department of Politics and International Students at COAS London University, will share with her opinion about UK university strikes.
I've been asked by your colleagues to respond to some questions about the various strike actions which are going on in the UK currently. So we have had a number of strikes in a couple of days ago. One was by the teachers, school teachers union. The other one was by the rail workers, transport workers union. And then we have strikes by the university teachers union. So these strike actions have been going on since last year, and the different unions who are striking, they announce ahead of time the specific dates on which these strikes are going on. So for instance, today, the 3rd of February, the national rail workers have been on strike. So the underground in London is working, but the overground rail is not working. Maybe some are working, but most of them are not working. And we knew this ahead of time that they will be striking today. From next week onwards, in February and March, the University Teachers Union have announced an 18-day discontinuous strike. So it's not 18 days in succession, some 2 days in 1 week, then 3 days next week, and so on.
So what is the main reason of this?
There are many reasons. Good question. The main reason, if I say, being that the university teachers' salaries have not risen in comparison with the salaries of government workers, in the private sectors, the bankers and the lawyers and others. So, and the second reason is that the pension that is available to university workers, now people like me who have been teaching for say 20 plus years, we are more or less okay. But we also, what we understand is that the pension that I will get is going to be less than what I thought 5 years ago I will get. And with the rise in inflation, and we have a very massive hike in inflation, the prices are going up because of so many different reasons. One is the Brexit and the way in which UK decided to get out of the European Union, disrupting so many connections, supply chains, and the the Brexit was like an earthquake, and the after effects, the aftershocks of Brexit are going to be felt for next so many years. So Brexit was the one major reason. The second one has to do with the global recession that we have stepped into. But of course, Britain seems to be doing much worse than other countries in Europe. Then, of course, the reasons are connected with the war in Ukraine, Russia's action, the energy crisis, the price of energy, the price of grain, and the price of the increase in transport cost, the decline in the value of the pound. Over the last 20 years, we have seen there's a rise in the number of casual, part-time, fractional workers. So these people come on a very limited contract. Every hour, they don't have access to pension. If they are sick or something, they lose pay. There's no certainty, there's no security for them. And they don't earn enough money to contribute to pension. So the young generation, the recent PhDs and people who are working on PhD, they just know that they will not have the kind of pension that my generation has. And my generation is very dissatisfied that the people who retired earlier, they are enjoying a good life, and I will not have that kind of good life. But the younger generation is going to be even worse off. So many of us are also fighting for the rights of the younger generation, the part-time people who are unable to get full-time jobs and who simply are unable to get the kind of security. So what we call the casualization of workforce.
So after this whole week's going on strikes, what is the main reason or result or achievements of?
So we will not be teaching. So of course our management is very concerned. We have so many foreign students who are paying huge amount of fee. So the students are not very happy that they have paid all this money and what happens. But we have been explaining to students. So when we go on strike, it's not that we are sitting at home and not answering. We are having these things called the teach out. So outside of the campus, and our university management has also created this whole barricade, and they say you cannot do any strike action, agitatsiya, agitation here. So we have to go outside of those places.
Did strikers achieve some results?
So we are doing, all of us are volunteering to give lectures on these themes about economic inflation, how it affects us, the injustice in the workplace, that medical workers, teachers at school and university, nurses, people who are taking care of old elderly, they are not getting paid. But the lawyers, bankers, financial analysts, they are getting huge amounts. So it's very, it's a very unjust society. So give lectures on these things. So, and our students come and support us. Vast majority of students are supporting us. And when students tell us that we have paid fee, but we are still not getting any education, we tell them, your fee doesn't come to us. I will teach these students even if they have paid no fee. So when I'm teaching 100 students in my class, I don't know who pays what. That's completely irrelevant.
Yes, of course.
So the students have to make these claims against the management, not against the teachers, but the management and others usually blame the teachers for going on strike. So that's what, but our students understand it. More and more students understand it.
So, thank you very much for your brief video.
Thank you.
We really appreciate Professor Bafna Dave stepping in to support us. This concludes our edition. Thank you for being with us. Stay with us and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and to turn on notifications.